Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. How's everybody doing today? It's Friday. I think it was a decent week for the chat. We're improving. Okay. I didn't look at any of the analytics for the show or anything yet. I'll do that this weekend. So, what's going on? What do you guys want to talk about? Any subject you want's okay, as long as we stay within the community guidelines that YouTube has established. In order to chat, you'll have to use your phone, a tablet, or a computer and go to YouTube and download the Discord app. It's free. The show is free. No sponsors, no commercials, no ads of any kind. I'm one of the few people on TV that's not trying to sell you anything. Okay. I'm not coming out with a line of merch. There's no upsell. Okay. 100% free. You're not required to chat. You can just listen or watch or whatever you want. As far as I know, if you want to chat, you got to do it with another device. Most of the TVs aren't prepared for it yet. Give them a couple of years. They'll be there. Okay. I think it generally takes about 18 months for everybody to catch up, okay, with the latest technologies. It was a mellow week around here. I'm in Michigan. Where are you guys at? We're starting fall. It is beginning. Okay. Our temperatures just dropped. The leaves are starting to turn. Should be quite colorful by the end of the month. Yeah, I'm smoking a cigarette. I don't recommend it for you. It's the only real bad habit I got left, and I'm kind of attached to it. I wouldn't call it an addiction. I'd call it a love affair. Okay. Personal opinion. Yeah, I'm happy with the lighting now. I still don't like the reflection off my glasses, but I'm happy with the lighting. It'll do. Okay. I'm a rounded off kind of guy. I don't pay too much attention to detail, unless I have to. I come up with afternoon chat basically because I missed meeting people. I originally worked in Las Vegas in the table games at the various casinos, and I got used to meeting a lot of people. I'd say at least 100 people a week for 33 plus years. Well, when I retired, I kind of miss meeting all those people. Okay. And I used to chat back in the day, and I thought it was fun. We used to have a lot of chat rooms that didn't have a specific topic to talk about. an open chat. So I've created one where you can talk about anything you want to talk about. If I don't know anything about the subject, I'll be the first to tell you. Okay. Well, unless you guys get into the chat and control the show, the onus falls on my shoulders. And then we're stuck with whatever rabbit hole I fall down this week. Okay. I'm relying on the people that populate the chat to be the stars of the show. I plan to just fade back into the background and never be noticed. The Ghost Mostly moniker was an alias from years ago. I used to have a band. We wrote a lot of songs, and I didn't want the band to owe me anything or have to put my name on anything, so I was a ghostwriter. When I started this project, I liked the nickname Ghost Mostly, so I just rolled it forward, added the word media and LLC, and created my corporation. I'm the OOO, the only operating officer. There's no one else. No production staff, no makeup artist. See? Just me. This show is free, but Ghost Mostly Media LLC will be doing other things after I get monetized. There's no point in doing other things yet. Once I get monetized, then I'll start picking up additional projects and doing additional things. But this particular show will always be free. Well, I've invited you into my living room, so I don't have the overhead. I'm not paying for a sound studio. I'm not, hiring employees or any of that stuff. So just me. I keep the overhead low, and then I don't need a sponsor. I don't need any commercials. I do highlight the box that YouTube offers me so that the chat replay will stay on the copy that is posted on YouTube after the live stream. The chats will stay on there so you can scroll through and see what was said. Hopefully, YouTube is going to get us sorted out. I think they're starting to put us in front of more people. I've noticed a few more people jumping into the chat. As long as we're moving on an uphill trajectory and we're improving every week, we're getting more subscribers, more viewing hours. It's progressing. When I decided to do this project, I made a commitment to myself that I'd do this for a period of 3 years to see if I could establish a chat community that, wants to chat Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. I don't know how many people are on their TV at this time of the day. I'm not sure how many people want to chat. The only platform I'm using is YouTube. I'm not on any other platforms. I'm not advertising on any of the other platforms. I'm not cutting shorts or any of that stuff. Until my channel's monetized, there's no point. But I'm only going to be on YouTube. I have no desire. I understand Twitch is popular with a lot of people, but I have no desire to get on Twitch. To me, YouTube is easy, simple, inexpensive, and accessible by everybody. Once the chat is populated, I'll have to take over the monitoring duties. So I am not trying to be the star of the show here. I'm not trying to run for political office. I'm not trying to become a YouTube big shot. Okay. I'm just trying to meet some people, say hi, see what's going on, what's happening in their part of the world, what's on their mind. I think that it keeps my mind sharp when I get to meet a lot of people. If ever you want me to change the subject, all you got to do is jump into the chat, fire off a message. I'll read it. I'm finally getting into a routine, a bit of a routine anyways, with doing this every day. I want people to know that the show's going to be dependable and reliable and here 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. If you want to chat, feel free. As long as we don't piss off YouTube, we're golden. Everything's fine. I mean, I do. I mean, this is my living room. I'm sitting on my couch, you know, and I'm trying to be 100% honest with everyone. I don't have any control over what other people say or do, so I can't put them on TV. I can control what I read out loud, and I am going to try to censor the show a little bit language-wise. I'd like to keep it at a G rating if possible. If it ends up with an R rating, I understand. I'm going to let the people in the chat dominate the show and determine which directions the show goes into. If we end up adjusting the hours, it'll be because of the chat. I don't want to put my thumb on the scale one way or another. I don't want to say we have to talk about this topic or we have to talk about that. I'd just soon give that control to the chat. Once we have more people in the chat, well, we can put up polls and stuff like that, and we can find out, you know, and basically prioritize the show and determine what we're going to talk about. Without having the chat fully populated, there's no point in putting in a poll. I think we're progressing just fine. I mean, last week, YouTube gave me a little sticker, said I was doing a great job. That's got to count for something, right? I really don't have any plans for this show other than the fact of meeting people and talking to people. No ulterior motive, nothing greed-based. I'm not trying to control or manipulate people. I'm just trying to meet them, find out what's on their mind. I like talking to people. It makes my day. Generally, when I get done with the show, I go for a nice walk in the park and I try to clear my head and talk to some of my neighbors and say hi and shoot the breeze with them. Then I come home and make myself dinner. I was rewatching the show to see what I needed to correct. I think I got everything pretty much under control now, so it seems to be going just fine. I haven't gotten to my standard beverage during the show yet. I'm still on my first Dr. Pepper of the day. Well, I lounged around this morning instead of doing my housework. And I lounged around and drank another cup of coffee and stared at the idiot box. Well, I'm right now, I'm censoring myself from news. I'm not tuning into the news. I don't know. I don't want to know what's going on. Sometimes it's better to protect yourself. There's just too much malarkey, you know. It's like an avalanche some days. There's a lot of things going on in our country. There's a lot of things going on in the world that are basically detrimental to our society, in my opinion. But that's the only thing I can offer you is my opinion, you know. What I see from my perspective here on this end of my couch. I'd love to hear your perspective. But I do believe in self-censorship from the news. I think that corporate media is basically brainwashing us. They're trying to scare us in order to manipulate the masses. They show us a bunch of scary bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like they want you to think there's a man with a machine gun on every corner in America that's been plotting for 2 weeks to take you out. And it's all propaganda. It's not true. There's not an armed gunman on every corner in America. Maybe somewhere down some demented soul's lost mind, they might think it that way, but it's just not. The good guys on this planet outnumber the bad guys. I mean, by a lot. I consider it 10-1. Well, I did a little research a few years ago, and I come across a couple of statistics that always stay in my mind. Like the fact that the felony criminal population of the continental United States has never, ever in the history of this country exceeded 7% of the population. Which, you know, conversely, it points out the screaming fact that 93% of us are not evil. 93% of us are not plotting against people. We're not sitting around dreaming about committing crimes next week. It never enters into our mind. We're too busy to think about that kind of crap. And it's not profitable. The only time crime pays is when you don't have anything to lose. Once you have something to lose, once you have a home, a job, a family, crime no longer pays. Okay? The 20-year-old that steals a car is not going to be a career criminal. At 20 years old, he didn't have anything to lose. He didn't have a house. He didn't have a family. He didn't have a car. That's why he went out and stole one, right? His brain hadn't fully developed at 20 years old. But it will by the time he's 40 and he's got kids on the way and he's got a job and he's got responsibilities. He'll never steal a car again. These career criminals that you see, that's Hollywood. It's fictitious. Right? You cannot survive in our society and while being a criminal. Well, nowadays there's a camera everywhere. It's ridiculous to think that you could walk out on the street and commit a crime and not be seen. If you really think that, you're a fool. Okay? We're too busy in our life. We're doing things. We don't have idle hands that the network channels want you to believe. I go out into the real world and I don't see crime. And I didn't see any crime at all last month. I didn't see any crime at all the month before that. I didn't see any crime at all the month before that. They're brainwashing you. It's the old publicity stunt that Hollywood used to do to get their name in the newspaper. It's blown out of proportion. There's 340 million people in this country, in just the United States, that didn't do anything bad to anybody yesterday. And they're not planning on doing anything bad to anybody today, let alone planning to do anything bad to anyone tomorrow. These kind of thoughts don't cross our mind. If they are crossing your mind, you might have been radicalized. You might need to get some counseling, okay? Sane people aren't sitting around premeditatedly planning on hurting one another. We have a lot of freedoms in this country that other countries don't have. And I think that people forget that those freedoms come with a bit of a price. I mean, we have the freedom of speech. I can walk out on the street, see one of my neighbors, and I can holler at him and call him a jerk. It's not illegal. But it's a double-edged sword. He can in turn holler at me and call me a jerk, so I better be able to take it, right? I can't get angry and walk up and hit him in the mouth. That's assault. I'd get arrested for that. So I got to have a thick skin. If you don't have a thick skin, how can you have freedom of speech? You've got to be able to take it when somebody says something like that. It's not the end of the world to disagree with someone. It's not the end of the world if you and I see things from a different point of view. Feel free to jump in the chat and tell me what your point of view is. If you do disagree with me, let's talk about it. Jump in here, play the devil's advocate. You're more than welcome. It's always going to be my assertion that people are nicer than you think. I haven't gone out yet today, but yesterday when I was out and about, everybody was nice. Everybody was friendly. Everyone was courteous. And I think that's how most days go for most people in our country. It is human nature for a human being to lash out once in a while. But they're not going to do it all day, every day. They're just not. It's not being realistic. Well, when you lash out at someone, they're going to eventually lash out and it'll come back to you. That's not how we live our lives. I think that they should have a news station. Somebody should start a news station that shows nothing but good news. Every time they tell you there's been a mass shooting, they don't point out that, 339 million and change didn't hurt anybody and have no desire to ever hurt anyone. The news media is pointing out these crimes and putting them on TV and giving them airtime in order to scare you. They scare you to manipulate you. They want you to think that the guy across the street from you is not on your side. And it's just not true. You have more in common than you think, more than you realize. If you didn't, we wouldn't have cities. I mean, think about that for a second. If your neighbor's plotting against you, you wouldn't want to have a neighbor within 50 miles in any direction, would you? No. But that's not the case. That's not the reality. The reality is that we have cities because when people get together and they collaborate and they work together, they're quite successful. I understand what it's like to have neighbors right on top of you. I live in an apartment complex. I got, 2 walls with neighbors. Actually, a 3rd wall, too. Duh. But yeah, people get together and they collaborate and they become successful. How long does it take one man to build a house? How long does it take 100 men to build that same house? It's just a numbers game. But the media found out that if they can scare you, they can control you, they can manipulate you, they can make you think anything they want you to think. You can go to college and you can get a 4-year education on how to manipulate the masses with media. Nothing's stopping you. I don't care to do that. I'm not trying to manipulate anyone. Most people aren't. We all have the same values. We all have the same, roughly the same morals, roughly the same ethics. You're walking down the street, you see a wallet, you pick it up. Do you return it? Do you keep it? Do you discard it? Most of us are the same. Doesn't matter what you do with the wallet. The point is that we all have the same options. Most of us are the same. If you open up that wallet and it's got a name of a buddy of yours, odds are you're going to return it. If it's got a name of a total stranger, you still might try to return it. Right? If you're afraid that you might be accused of having stole that wallet, you might put it right back down on the ground and be sorry you ever picked it up. Depends on your perspective and where you are, right? How do you see things? Do you see things differently than I do? When you open your front door and you step out, do you see a criminal on every corner with a submachine gun or an AR-15? I don't. Okay. There are people in town, I can go over to their house and we can go shooting out at the gun range and I can see AR-15s. They're a fact of life. But I don't see one on every corner, and it's not held by a criminal. Well, the criminal can't afford that stupid AR-15. Okay. He can't even afford the ammunition. He's a crook. He doesn't have any money. Okay. I just, the news media is it's brainwashing us into thinking that we're all butting heads all the time. We're all against each other. And we're just not. Everybody I know loves their mother and father. Everybody I know loves their sister and brother. Everybody I've ever met loves their aunts and uncles. They love their cousins. That's the reality. We're more similar than you think. We have a lot of the same basic needs and ideas and goals. You want to have a good job? I want to have a good job. You want your kids to have it better than you had it? I want my kids to have it better than I had it. We're all basically the same. But you don't know what your neighbor guy's got on his plate. What's he thinking about? You don't know unless you speak to him. How could you know? You see two guys walk out of their houses at the same time. They jump in their cars. They head different directions. Are they both going to work? Are both running errands? Their lives are the same. Whether one's a Republican and the other's a Democrat doesn't make a difference. They're all basically the same. Our country is Some say it's tribalized. And oh, I can't associate with those people. They're too much different than I am. No, they're not. They're basically the exact same people, and that goes from country to country. If you live in Germany, you got to get up and go to work every day. Same as if you live in Egypt, the same as if you live in America. Get up and go to work, earn your living. If you don't work, you don't have. And that's good for every country. The type of job and the conditions of the job vary, but the people don't. They're all basically the same. We all go to work. We all try to raise our kids. We all try to, be good people. People make mistakes. Accidents happen. This is real life. It's not pretend. Okay. If you trip and fall down, you trip and fall down. You can't just lay there forever. You got to get back up and walk again. Okay. And that doesn't matter what religion you are. Doesn't matter, what color your hat is. Right. We're all basically the same. We're all unique individuals, but our basically everything's the same. They want you to think that you're different, and just like they want you to think that you need to tune into their news broadcast in order to get the facts. Well, the fact of the matter is they're not even reporting all of the news. If they did, you'd find about you'd find out about all the good things that happened yesterday that you didn't hear about. I see good Samaritans all over the place. Sometimes I get to be the good Samaritan. And I do consider it a privilege. I had one that happened a couple of months back in the park. I was walking, and a little girl had taken a spill on her bike, and the chain had come off the bike. She couldn't get on it and ride. I had to be the good Samaritan. I had to step up and put that chain back on there for her. It jumps to my mind because I literally hadn't put a chain on a bicycle sprocket for, 50 some years. It'd been a minute. I managed to get it on there, but I was covered in grease. But it makes you feel good when you can save someone, when you can help someone. It really does. I like it. Makes me feel good about myself. I was useful today, darn it. Other days I'm just a bump on the log, but that day I was useful. I was helpful. I was kind, right? But our news media wasn't there. They didn't report. It wasn't on the 6 o'clock news. Old man helps little girl for nothing, for no pay, without compensation of any kind. Well, she did say thank you. She was a well-mannered little girl, okay? But, you get my point. There's more goodness out there than you see by watching TV. And it goes on and on and on. But it never makes the news. I don't know. The dishwashing company doesn't want to put up a 30-second commercial for a news story that's talking about a Good Samaritan that only helped one person. They can't figure out a way to make money off of that. But if that one person were to mug that individual and it was caught on their camera phone, I guarantee you could see that on your news feed. Okay. They'll put that scary stuff up there every single day, every single channel, by the way. It's sad. There's good news every day. We just don't ever hear about it. We only see it in real time, real life. I don't know why somebody doesn't make a positive channel. Maybe that's something I can do with Ghost Mostly Media once I get monetized. Maybe I can just start posting good news. There is good news once in a while. You don't hear that headline. They don't come on at noon and say, breaking news. Man helps little girl. He didn't even know her. Story at 11. Are you going to tune in for that? I doubt it, but you get my point. I think planet-wide, there are good people. Planet-wide, every country. Every country, parents love their children. Every country, parents take care of their children. The outlier is the one that does not think like us, the one that wants to hurt the children. That's the outlier in our society. But with all this negative news and for them force feeding you fear, it makes for a stressful existence, which is why I tune it out. I shut it off. I'm not going to watch the news. I'm not going to let them scare me. I'm not going to let them depress me. And I'm not going to let them control and manipulate me. They don't tell you all the news. They tell you what they want to tell you, and their opinion is biased because they are a for-profit company. They're trying to make a buck. And they don't care at whose expense, as long as they get their profit. It's good old-fashioned American greed that I'm talking about. And then there's greed in other countries too. Don't get me wrong. It's not just America. But I can guarantee you, I'm not sitting around trying to commit crimes. I'm not sitting around conspiring. And I don't think most people are doing that. If they were, the world wouldn't exist as we know it. I was watching International Busker earlier in the week. Guy's name is Marcus K. Last initial is K. He travels the globe and he sets up his guitar and he's got a looper and he plays music. People come and give him spare change or whatever, throw a buck or two into his guitar case, you know. And he films them and he puts them on YouTube, you know, which is where I found him, was on YouTube. He's a good musician. He's an okay singer. Some of his songs are originals. Some of them are a bastardized version of a cover. But I'm not looking specifically at him per se. I'm listening to his music, but when he's filming in different areas of the world, I'm looking and I'm seeing clean neighborhoods, nice people going about their business. Some of them have time to stop and listen. Some of them don't. The same as you would have if you were busking in Miami or New York or LA. People are all basically the same. Our towns are all basically the same. I'm looking and they've got paved streets. They've got sidewalks. They've got shops, bodegas, you know, they're all the same. And I'm looking at every country. I've seen him in China. I've seen him in India. I've seen him in Africa. I've seen him in all kinds of different countries. People treat him nice. And all he's doing is playing music. Because people are all basically nice. I don't care where you go. They're nice everywhere. I had really lost faith for a while, and I thought, oh my goodness, you know, the country's going to hell in a handbasket. And then I realized I got to quit watching all that negative press, right? Ignore it. Shut it off. Don't ingest it. You know, it's one of the things I do with my life. Put negative influences on your life in one column and positive influences on your life in the other column. And then you consciously schedule more time for the positive and you consciously schedule less time for the negative. And eventually there is no negative in your life. It's all positive. Watching the news was a negative. It got me depressed. It got me upset. It got me angry. I don't need that. What was ever built from anger that has any value at all? What was ever built from hate that has any value at all? I see nothing built from hate that is of value. At least it's not of value to me. Got a different opinion? Jump in the chat and tell me about it. I'll listen. I've got a very open mind, and this is a very inclusive channel. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome to voice their opinion. Even if your country doesn't have freedom of speech, in this chat room you do. You know, and to me, it's just, you know, a sign of the times, right? Well, back in the day when there were only network channels, before cable, before the internet, right? I think we got a more unbiased look at real news. I don't see any unbiased look at real news anymore. I see all biased. It's all tainted one way or another. If you're watching a Republican biased channel, they're going to tell you that all the Democrats are evil SOBs and they can never be trusted. That's a lie. If you're watching the Democratic based channel and they tell you that all the Republicans are evil and they want to burn down the country or start a civil war, not true. It's their biased opinion. And they're trying to control and manipulate people into believing this. It's just not true. Your basic Republican voter wants the same thing as the basic Democratic voter: a good life, a good future, stability, security, right? We all want the same basic things. I don't know why I'm the only one on television saying so, but it's true. From my perspective, from what I see in my end of my couch, everybody in my town is potentially my friend. That guy might be too busy to talk to me today, but maybe tomorrow he won't be so busy and we'll have time and we can sit and communicate. I'm going to like everybody and I'm going to trust everybody. Not foolishly trust, here, have this deed to my house. No, don't get absurd, but within reason. If that guy walks up to me and I don't know him and he says, "Hey, they got ice cream cones over here. Do you want one?" I might say, "Sure." Pull out a 5, hand it to him, say, "Grab me a pistachio." Sounds good. I'm going to trust him to go get me a pistachio when he's getting his ice cream. And I'm hoping he comes back and we can sit down and enjoy our ice cream together and have a nice, pleasant conversation. But if you watch the news, as soon as you pull your wallet out, that guy's pulling out a 45 and he wants the whole damn thing. That's not reality. That's fantasy. That's make-believe. It's all pretend. These movies that you see are not real. Okay. Let's start with the first one. Human beings cannot live in space indefinitely. They cannot travel in space indefinitely. It's not possible. It's only possible in TV, in pretend, in make-believe. The one of the astronauts they put up there for a year, he came back 2 inches shorter. Okay. Mankind cannot survive in that type of environment unless they control the entire environment. And it's not cost effective. What you're seeing on TV is not real. John Wick is not real. There's not a hitman on every corner looking to get you. It's just fake. It's like some of this reality TV. Turns out some of that is scripted. It's not as real as they're trying to portray it as. It's pretend. Well, if we're going to pretend, let's pretend we're all Superman. Nothing can hurt us. We're okay. Okay? If we're going to pretend, if we're going to live in a life where the make believe is supposed to be real, why settle? Okay? I learned that, I don't know, when I was 8 years old. I had a bad dream. And I was talking to somebody and he told me, you can be Superman in your dreams. I'm like, really? He said, think about it. So I did. Now, every time I start to have a nightmare, I just become Superman. Problem solved. If it's not real, it's not real, right? I know you guys are getting to know me way too good. Jump in the chat so I don't go down these little rabbit holes. Give me something else to think about, talk about. I don't have any idea what I'm going to be talking about 5 minutes from now. It's not planned. It's not scripted. The whole show is off the cuff. I do not come into these shows with an agenda. My agenda is to let the chat room control the show. Okay? The people in the chat, if there's something you would like to talk about, go to YouTube, download that Discord app, and get in here and chat. Let's talk about it. These network television and Hollywood, all of it, they're all trying to be entertaining, and they're trying to absorb an audience. I'm not on that wave anymore. I'm not riding that wave. I'm not going that way. I don't have well, I should. I do. I follow Lions football. So if I have a favorite show, it would be the Lions game for this week, right? But I can't say, oh, I've got to get home and I got to turn on this show at 8 o'clock. Oh, I got to run home and do this one at 9:30. No, my life isn't planned out that way, and it's not scripted at all. So when I do these shows, I'm just winging it. I don't have a notepad with subject matter that I want to talk about, and I'm not trying to talk you into believing anything except the reality that I see. And that is that they're trying to control us with fear and manipulation, and I'm not buying into it. They're not going to scare me. If I'm out on the street and I see a guy that looks too scary, that I gotta feel actual fear, I'm more likely to go up and introduce myself to him and find out why he looks so goddamn scary. Okay, dude, brush your hair. I know that people are nice. I used to meet them in Las Vegas, people from every country of the world. They came in, they sat down, we talked, we visited. They're nice people. They're not mean. They're not conspiring. They're just average people. They're nice. Most of us are. Can I be gruff some days? Well, yeah, I'm a normal human being. If I stub my toe, it hurts, damn it. Okay. But I'm not going to lash out at you because I stubbed my toe, right? I'm more likely to lash out at myself. And I got to learn to watch where I'm walking. Smooth move, Ghost. I'm just saying that I like people. And I think you will too. If you don't work with them, share a meal with them. Either way, you're going to find out that they're nice. They're decent. They're not doing bad things. They're doing good things on a daily basis. The family unit that we used to have is now spread out. My kids and my granddaughter, they live in Las Vegas. I live in Michigan. I got a sister and she's in Florida. They're spread out. It's not like it used to be. If you go, well, just look at the Old West, here in the United States. Sometimes people live their whole lives and they never left a 50-mile radius in their entire lifetime. Times have changed. We can travel. My kids, they travel the globe. They're all over the world all the time. I used to do a lot of traveling when I was younger. I don't anymore. I'm glad the kids get to travel and stuff. Excuse me. Well, if you believe what you see on the news, you'd never leave your house. Okay. You'd be curled up in the corner in the fetal position, afraid to go out your front door. I don't have those kind of fears in my life, and I'm not going to let them be in my life. If your fear controls you, you do not have quality of life. If you control your fear, you do have quality of life. Uncontrolled fear is not the answer. Controlled fear. A little bit of fear is good for you. A little bit of fear can save your life. A little bit of fear keeps you from stepping off the edge of the Grand Canyon. A little bit of fear keeps you from walking down that dark alley at 3 o'clock in the morning. A little bit of fear is a good thing, and it can and will save your life. But an uncontrolled fear, that is not good. That robs you of your life. Uncontrolled fear builds nothing. Uncontrolled fear, all it is just a negative. I'm not going to be able to interact with you because I'm afraid of you. Who loses? The one that can't control the fear. I don't understand why people allow other people to scare them. If you watch Fox News, you probably think we're on the verge of civil war. But if you walk out your front door, you don't. Walk out your front door, there's nothing there to lead you to believe that we're on the verge of civil war. They're scaring you to manipulate you, to control you, control your fears, and enjoy your life. Have quality of life. Don't be afraid of people you don't know. I'm not going to. There's no justifiable reason of being afraid. Yeah, if you lived in Ukraine and your country's currently at war, I wouldn't go talking to strangers. Right? A little bit of fear can keep you alive, right? But you can't be feared to the point where you can't walk out your front door. I honestly think people are good. This is my take on all these aliens that they're trying to deport out of the United States now. Once I've worked a shift with that guy, he's part of my family. Leave him alone. Once I've shared a meal with those people, they're a part of my family. Leave them alone. Okay? If they want to go after a murderer, go after a murderer. If they want to go after a criminal, go after the criminal. But just because somebody showed up here doesn't make them a criminal. They showed up here because it's supposed to be nice here. It's supposed to be safe here. All these damn ICE agents running around with a mask over their face. That's how proud they are of what they're doing. They know they're doing the wrong thing. You couldn't pay me enough money to do the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I'm just not that greedy. I'm not going to mistreat people. I don't think most of us would. I think that they're getting the dredges of our society in order, they're getting them to sign up with ICE. These are the people that are very prejudiced. These are the people that want to hurt people. They want to lash out. They get a little dopamine release in their brain every time they get to push down an old lady. It's sad. These people need psychological help as far as I'm concerned. They need some assistance. They've strayed from the path. We all know right and wrong, and I don't care. You don't hurt people. It's not the right thing to do. It's never the right thing to do. Personal opinion. That's all I can offer you. I think, yeah, all these people that are working for ICE are going to regret it. Someday, their kid or their relative is going to see them on one of these news clips pushing down an old lady. And they're going to say, well, what the heck were you thinking? What were you doing? Oh, you did that because somebody paid you $50,000 to go and work for ICE? Yeah. They'll be standing at the pearly gates begging for forgiveness. I'm sorry, St. Peter. I didn't realize that you were going to keep a tab. No, you can't hurt people. No good has ever come from hurting people. It's just not right. Our next president, hopefully, he'll unmask all these ICE agents, identify him. This is the name of the guy that pushed this old lady down. This is the name of the guy that stepped on this man's neck. This is the name of the guy, you know. They're wearing a mask because they don't want to answer for what they're doing. They don't want to be held accountable. They think because there's 50 of us in masks, it's a good deal. It's not a good deal. All 50 of you are bad. All right. There's no just following orders. No, that don't cut it. You know right from wrong. We all do. I can't fathom watching that crap. I really can't. It's just a matter of time before the people rise up against that shit. Well, these ICE agents are going to have to learn this lesson the hard way, I'm afraid. It's going to end up costing them in the long run. Is just following orders doesn't cut it when you're mistreating people, when you're stomping on their rights. Even if you're not a citizen in this country, no one has the right to hit you. No one has the right to push you down. No one has the right to pick on you. Period. I think that it's going to be the same as with law enforcement. Some of the good guys are going to get out. They're going to just, all right, that's enough. You guys have crossed a line. I'm not going to have anything to do with this. And that's a shame, because we're probably losing some good ICE agents. We're probably losing some good police officers. We're probably losing some good guys in the military. It's just a shame. A lot of sadness in America nowadays under Trump. It's, you know, the buck's got to stop somewhere. And, you know, I think his dementia is just getting the best of him. Dementia is real. In his mind, I'm sure Portland is a war zone, but it's all in his mind. If it were real, we would know about it. We're the citizens of the United States. We would hear about it if it were real. It's not really a war zone. And what I saw was totally absurd with the whole Washington, D.C. He sends the troops in there, and I look, and the troops are patrolling the National Mall. That's not where the crime is, dumbass. Okay. If you're really there to stop the crime, you got to go to where the crime is. And it's not on the National Mall. They're there protecting businesses. And it's all for show. It's a show of force. They're trying to get somebody to take a shot at the military so that they can increase the military presence. And it's a shame. It'll happen eventually. But it shouldn't. And it's all because Trump has dementia. He thinks this is necessary. It's not. But he doesn't have anyone around him that's sane that can say, hey, slow up here, Slick. You're out of line. There's nobody, there's no guardrails. He's got the accelerator pressed down to the floorboard, and there's no guardrails. And he's not in a right mind to be leading. It's for him. You know, it's really a shame because, you know, what he's doing with his, you know, job position, this is going to go down in history. 100 years from now, people are going to open books and say, oh, this guy was an asshole. Why didn't somebody straighten him out? It's just sad. Yeah. He's a human being. He's flawed. He makes mistakes, just like we all do. Some of his are bigger and they're going to be harder to forgive. You know, it's sad, really. Yeah. Facts and figures don't lie. People do. And the facts and figures are going to show up in the long run. It's like right now, the government, you know, they're all cooking the books. They don't want us to know what the real unemployment rate is, or they don't want us to know what the real inflation rate is, or they don't want us to know what's in the Epstein files. All this crap will come out in the wash. It always does. It'll be 10 years from now, and half the people on the Epstein list will be dead by then for natural causes. But, you know, we're going to find out eventually. The people won't forget that. I mean, as far as Epstein goes, he was a pimp. He was running women. Yeah, he was doing other heinous things like grooming children so that he could peddle them, you know. But he was a pimp. And he was a high rolling pimp. He all these rich guys were all using his services. All right, so maybe you didn't date the 14-year-old, but he still rented you a 20-year-old. All right. It's still a crime. And it's sad, but all that'll come out. And people are going to take a look at it 10 years from now, and they'll say, really? He was a child molester? Oh, my goodness. That's just sick. Yeah. There's a lot of sadness coming when that crap comes out. The bottom line is we want to know the financials. Who paid the pimp? He wasn't going into his bank every Monday morning and saying, oh, here's the $50,000 I took in from selling all these girls this weekend. Put this in my account. He wasn't doing that. They were doing electronic money transfers. There's a paper trail for all of this. It'll all come out. Just like we find out who used to have money in the offshore account, right? Eventually we find out, oh, so-and-so's corporation evaded taxes by putting their money in this offshore account for a period of 3 years. Then they brought it back. Comes out, we always find out in the end. Okay. And it's just sad. All these people, history will not be kind. Their greed is going to show tenfold. And everybody's going to know. Well, a lot of these guys, like the political donors, right, that are paying for all this crap, right? They bribe the politician, then the politician puts in the bad policy, then the bad policy affects people. And eventually it's going to all boil down to, and they'll be able to sit there and say, oh, well, so-and-so donated this money and then had him arrest and deport all of these people so that they could turn a profit for this privatized prison. You know, it's going to be real disgusting to see what they end up writing about these people. But, you know, some lessons have to be learned the hard way, just like the ICE agents, all these millionaires and billionaires, these high rollers that were going to Epstein's parties and buying the young women or renting the young women. It'll all come out and they're all going to get their reputations tarnished. And then their relatives are going to get sued. You know, there'll be civil lawsuits flying left and right eventually over all of this crap. Then they'll pay the price. But the history books on Donald Trump, they're just going to be sad because of all this crap that he's doing. It'll be sad. I think it's sad for any president that does bad things. It always comes out in the wash. I mean, look at George W. Bush, right? The history books portray him as a bumbling, stumbling idiot. Okay. Or it's going to go the other way, you know. For Trump, they're going to, they're going to destroy his whole reputation, and he's got grandkids. That's going to be sad for those grandkids. Well, when you're Trump's grandkid and you're sitting in a history class in school, and the books say that your grandfather picked on Latino people, what are you going to say? How are you going to feel? It's going to be a shame. I'd rather go a different direction and try to leave a legacy that will be a positive. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not running for any political office. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm just saying it's going to be sad what they end up writing. I feel sorry for the family members. When your children find out about your crimes, it's never pretty. I know I've done some bonehead moves. I've made some poor choices in my life. when you make mistakes, eventually your children walk up to you and ask you about them. Duh. Okay. It's not going to be pretty. I don't feel like I have any regrets with my life. I mean, I made some poor choices, but I learned some good lessons. But I think sending all these ICE agents after these really harmless people, it's just going to come back and bite him in the ass. It's a shame, but, well, you do heinous things, it's on you. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to participate. If they come and they ask me to turn in my neighbor for being Latino or for being gay or whatever, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell them to pound sand. Not on my watch. I'm not doing it. These it's the same as these Karens that I see on Indisputable with Dr. Richie. He puts these Karens on there, and there they are acting the fool. And that crap's going to stay on the internet for forever. How do you think Karens, they're going to freak out? They're going to say, my grandma did that? Why is she running around yelling at those? Why didn't she business? Okay. It's going to, people got to learn things the hard way. I think the stream's getting a little choppy now. I don't know why. I had a notification come up, but it didn't say anything negative. Well, the chat's still working, so we're okay. And I had issues that I had to, well, still have to face the reality of looking my sons in the eyes and telling them, well, yeah, up till age 35, I was drunk. You know what I mean? Took me a long time to put that bottle down. I did get it put down, but, took a long time. From basically the age of 15 until 35, that 20-year span there, I was drunk most of the time. On my way to being drunk. Okay. Eventually, I put that bottle down. Well, I was also fighting society. Back then, society said, well, you can't smoke marijuana. You can only drink alcohol. Eventually, I stopped drinking because it was on my body. but I still self-medicated. I still, I had a bout with cocaine too. We don't need to discuss that one right now, but an addictive personality is an addictive personality. I think now in my later years, I can look back and I can say, well, in moderation, none of these things were that bad. But in excess, all of these things were really bad. I mean, that's the reality of the life I've lived. I made choices, some of them good, some of them bad. I got to, accept the responsibility for the poor choices the same way I get to pat myself on the back for all the good choices. Okay. All of these things are a double-edged sword, Personal opinion. That's all I can offer you. I smoke cigarettes and I smoke pot. The cigarettes, our society says that's a bad habit. I disagree, but my opinion does smoker. Okay. Same thing with smoking pot. Well, last night I was watching Thursday Night Football with Tom Grossi, and I had one beer, but I smoked 3 bowls. Okay. First quarter, halftime, and a game. I was shocked that the Giants won, actually. I mean, shocked. Sunday, the Lions game, Sunday night, is going to be really good. I'm looking forward to watching that. Well, realistically, I think the final score is going to be 42-28. At the most, I think that Kansas City will be able to score 31. But I'm thinking more like 28. The Lions, I expect to score on every possession. Their offense is phenomenal. I like them, the whole organization, top to bottom. I like Martha Ford. She's 100 years old and sharp. Okay, I like her. Sheila Ford Hamp. I like her too. I like the general manager, the head coach. I like the coaching staff. I like the team. I think this year they're going to be 16-1 for a regular season record. And I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat and tell me who you like and who you think is going to beat the Lions. Okay. I look forward to having a conversation. The only team that I follow is the Lions. I don't follow all the rest of the teams. I used to play fantasy football and I followed the whole league back in the 80s, but that was before fantasy football became so mainstream. I was doing that and I enjoyed it. It was fun back in the day. I don't know. We used to play for money too. So if your fantasy team lost, you had to pay, or if you picked somebody up off of waivers, you had to pay. And then at the end of the season, first, second, and third place received money. So if you had a stinky team, it could get it pricey. Okay. But I think nowadays a lot of these leagues, they're just doing it for fun, which is okay too. But I know people that are in 5 or 6 different leagues. And oh my goodness, how far are you taking this? Oh, I tried other sports too, like fantasy baseball and stuff back in the day. It wasn't my cup of tea. Well, the biggest difference were there were too many baseball teams, too many players, too many games played in a season. For the fantasy, I preferred it with the pro football. I used to answer my phone back in the day. Used to drive my friends crazy. They'd call me and I'd say, I'm 13-0. How you doing? Yeah, that was the best season I had. I went 13-0 before I ever lost a game in fantasy football. But yeah, I enjoyed it back in the day. Back in the day, I saw a casino that put out old casino. What was the name? The Frontier. They had put up a fantasy football parlay card, and if you scored X amount of points, you won X amount of dollars. And within one football season, my entire fantasy league, we put them out of business. they they stopped that promotion right off the bat. They're like, no, we can't even finish the season with this. It's costing us too much money. Well, they allowed you to pick whatever players each week, and those of us that followed the league, we knew how to pick. So we were betting a $5 ticket and cashing for 400 every week. Okay, thanks. Appreciate you. They didn't even make it through the entire season, and they stopped those parlay cards. They said, no, this isn't quite working out, guys. I thought that was hilarious. Well, just because a casino decides to do something don't mean it's going to work. People make mistakes. Well, back in the day, I used to gamble on everything. Nowadays, I don't gamble on anything. Well, gambling is, it boils down to entertainment value for your money. I don't care what you're gambling on. It still boils down the same. It's just like going and seeing a movie. You pay, what, $10 to $15 for your ticket to the movie. You hope the movie's good. You could walk out of there thinking that's the best $15 I ever spent. Or you could walk out of there thinking, what a waste of money and time that was. Oh my goodness. I think the first movie that happened to me with was Heaven Can Wait. I went to the theater and I saw that movie and I thought, what a waste of my time and money. Other movies I enjoyed quite a bit, but that one, it just didn't cut it for me. I watch most of the movies I watch now are on YouTube because I don't have the commercials. I can't stand the commercials. If I go watch a one movie on Prime, they're still showing commercials. HBO still showing. I'm fed up with that. No, I don't watch any commercials anymore. Why should I? You ask me, if they're going to brainwash you with TV, they should be paying you to watch it. If Fox News wants me to watch, they should have to cut me a paycheck. That's the only way I'm going to watch Fox News. Sorry. Well, they don't know that I'm here. Okay. So they're not sweating me. But, I know that they're a waste of my time and energy. I know that every news story they show is biased. Every news story they show is an attempt to manipulate or control people. They've proven that over the years. I quit watching Fox, gosh, I don't know, maybe 2012, 2013. Yeah, I figured them out. Back in the day, I was watching Bill O'Reilly, Fair and Balanced. Yeah. And I'm like, this is not fair and balanced, dude. You're shooting from the hip here. And no, not my cup of tea. Well, I switched to MSNBC for a number of years too, and then they burnt me out. The best thing I can say about Joe Scarborough, I like some of his music. Personal opinion. I thought about writing a song for him back in the day, but I don't think he's serious about playing music. I don't think he's going to be dropping an album. But back in the day, I had thought about it. Yeah, I finally got to my Gatorade. I'm trying to be a little more healthful to a certain extent. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still smoking, but the doctor told me that I need the electrolytes, so I put a Gatorade in my daily routine. After I finish this Gatorade, I'll probably go back and have another Dr. Pepper. It's my beverage of choice, at least for now. Although they are trying to price me out of the market. I'm sorry. A Dr. Pepper should not cost as much as a beer. It really shouldn't. They're both beverages, but they shouldn't be costing the same. They're working on it. They're trying to get it so that it's just as expensive to get a soda as it is to drink a alcoholic beverage. I can't believe nobody got in and chatted today. I thought we were getting on the right track back Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, but it slowed up again. YouTube will figure us out eventually. We'll get more people in here, more people chatting. In the meantime, you got me. I don't bite. I ramble. I fall down rabbit holes, but I don't bite. So what are you guys doing for dinner tonight? I think I'm having hot dogs. I don't know. I might order a pizza or something just to change it up a bit. Well, I get tired of my own cooking. I'm not making myself fancy meals. Don't misconstrue that. Okay. Weekend, I'll probably get in and I'll check the analytics and I'll see where we're going. And, you know, I've thought about making some format changes and stuff, but I don't see any point in it. I think I'm just going to be patient and let it run its course and see where we end up. I think YouTube will sort us out and eventually they'll get us in front of people we need to be in front of. It'll happen. I'm thinking, well, I think today is the end of 6 weeks or something. I don't know. I started this on August 25th. So 4, 5, 6, about 6 weeks in. Well, we'll see where we are in another 6 weeks. Okay. Got to be patient, New things can't, just, takes time to build something that's of value. So I'll be patient. I'm not going to run out and get on Twitch tomorrow. I guarantee you. Not going to happen. I have no desire. I was actually thinking of letting the members do that, if they wanted to put this stream on other platforms. I was thinking of letting the paid members do that. But I haven't activated Patreon page and all that crapola yet either. I don't know. I might get around to that stuff this weekend, but I don't see any rush. I don't want to hustle anybody for any money. I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to, all I want to do is meet people, talk to people, say hi, see what's on their mind. I enjoy meeting people. Surprised you don't. Well, I've been trying to close this show every day with discussing my live and let live philosophy. I don't think we need to micromanage our neighbors or our fellow citizens or countrymen, or I don't think we need to do it. It's a waste of time. Worry about you and take care of yours. I'll worry about me and I'll take care of mine. Live and let live. I'm not going to try to tell you what to do or live. And I'm not going to let you tell me what to do or tell me how to live. I want everybody to get along. Hence the live and let live. You just can't pick and choose for people. You can't force them into fitting into your ideal neighbor. You just can't. The main example I try to use is Try telling your kids what they can and can't do. After they turn 18, good luck with that. They're gonna make their own decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. And there ain't a dang thing you can do about it. People are going to do what they're going to do. It's beyond your control. So why try to control other people? There's no future in it. If we live in the same town, I can't try to tell you which roads you got to take to get across town. You're going to drive whatever roads you want to drive. It's none of my business. I need to just allow you to be an individual. And you in turn need to allow me to be an individual. I want to be unique. I don't want to be like everybody else in a lot of aspects. Even though we have a common ground, I prefer to choose my own path. I don't want people telling me what to do. And I don't think anybody really does. I mean, there are a few people. There's a few people that believe in everything. All I know is every time I've ever tried to micromanage people, it never worked out. I could be successful for a little while, but not in the long run. Leave each other alone. It's not hard to do, okay? I'm actually succeeding at doing it every day. If somebody wants to be a Trump voter, let them be a Trump voter. It's none of your business. Somebody wants to be a gun owner, let them be a gun owner. It's none of your business. If somebody wants to be a ballroom dancer, let them be a ballroom dancer. It's none of your business. Let people do what they want to do. Let them. They're not breaking the law. They don't have to live under your rule. You don't have to live under their rule. I have no right to ask you guys to all smoke cigarettes just because I smoke. Why would I want to try to get you guys to all be smokers? On the same token, I don't like cheesecake. There's nothing you can do ever to get me to